welcome back to the new show. I'm excited that you guys are here. Today, we're going to crack the code on why are people problems so complex. And I think what you're going to find kind of interesting is that when it comes to dealing with people problems, we're actually dealing with ourselves as individuals first, because that's what you have to do when you're addressing a people issue. So anytime I get a call from a client that's like, hey, listen, I've got an issue with this guy, or I'm struggling with this person and I don't really know exactly what to do. One of the things that I always talk to them about is like, okay, well, first I say, I get what you're saying, but first, before you have a conversation with them, we got to get you and your emotions and how you feel right. Then that way you're going into this conversation productively, and you're not going to actually create bigger problems than what you should be dealing with. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that. They come in all ready to go, like loaded for bear, ready to take on the day, ready to just give it to them. And you'd be surprised in today's day and age how many people I still have that, because I mentioned it earlier a while ago. If you've been following, you've heard this from me, and that is leadership is not easy. It really isn't. It's a challenge. It's difficult. But one of the things that we as leaders, or just as people in general, forget the leader thing, forget the manager, forget the leader thing. This is just human in general. We judge, and we're very quick to judge. And I am not immune to that. Matter of fact, I was on the phone the other day with somebody, one of my business partners, and he was starting to, kind of go down that road with somebody. And I stopped and I said, one of the things that I'm really working on personally is, because I'm hearing it and I don't like it, is I'm getting too judgy. Now, my judgy compared to other people's judgy is pretty minor, but the loudest part of my judgment exists behind my mouth. It's in my head. And that sucker is loud. That voice is extremely loud. And you know what? He went, you know what? You're right. We're not going there. I'm like, yep, exactly. Good. It is what it is. We have no control over it. It doesn't impact our life. It doesn't even mean anything 5 minutes from now. It won't even mean anything 5 minutes ahead of time. So just I said, let's just walk away from that. We'll love the person because they're pretty great. And that is just the way it is. And he goes, agreed. I was fabulous. Great. But one of the reasons why our people problems are so complex is that we are very quick to judge. And I started going down this road a little bit earlier, is one of the challenges that when businesses and leaders call for help, I hear it very quickly. And that is that they judge and they don't ask the right questions. Sometimes they don't even ask questions at all. Now, our level of success as people, as teams, as companies is all going to be based because of our relationships that we put out there. It doesn't matter. I mean, sales is sales. Yes, we're going to have money coming in and revenue has everything to do with that. But you're not going to get revenue unless somebody has a relationship with you or your company or whoever the representative is. Okay. Just like you're not going to pay attention to this unless you feel you have some sort of relationship with me. And although it's virtual, my goal is to help you out. And this is my mission is to help you build better in an area that you feel, I don't even know what it is, because obviously I can't see you. This is virtual, but you're paying attention to this because there's something that you want to get out of this, because there's something that you want to get better at. And if I can help you with that, that's fantastic. Guess what? We're building a relationship. I may or may never even meet you. I hope to someday, right? I really do. I really enjoy meeting people. And I've gotten flagged down in airports, and I've had I had one woman send me this amazing handmade tote bag, which was just so incredibly kind because of the help that was provided. So this isn't about me patting my shoulder on the back, but at the same time, we're only going to be successful based off of the quality of our relationships. And that means that we not only do that with our customers, but we have to do that with our internal customers, or the people that we have to engage in order to make business happen, or volunteer work, or social and community efforts. It doesn't matter. Okay. We are in a very judgmental environment. And a lot of that comes out, believe it or not, in social media. I guarantee you Somebody is watching my videos and judging the ever living hell out of me. And you know what? That's fine. I'm absolutely okay with that. Right? Because it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have in life with somebody, one or two things are either going to happen. We are either going to build people up, right? Or we're going to tear them down. Only two directions that this is going to go. But you can't win by being somebody who actually does both. That's the level of complexity that you as a listener brings and interjects into your relationships. You can't control what the other person is doing, but you sure as hell can control yourself. Just like in my conversation with my friend the other day, my business partner, I said, hey, listen, I don't want to go down this road. And he said, fine, we're not going to go down there. I can't control how he was going to respond, but I certainly can control the volume in my voice, the volume of my voice in my head, and whether or not I was going to continue to judge this individual. Trust me, it works, okay? And I can promise you this, no matter what you do, if you have people in your life or your business, you're going to have people problems. I said it for years and years and years. If you have people, you have people problems. Just the way it's going to be. We're not all going to wind up relating to one another well or easily. But there are things that we can do and put into place that is going to help things out. One of those things that we can do when we find ourselves walking into a people-related issue is that when we start to see conflict arise, and this is the part where we start getting kind of seized up, right? So some of my clients will call and just like, well, I got this one person, we got an issue with this one person, and they're doing this and they're saying this, and it just, we've looked into their background, we've checked out their social media, blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden these small details that really don't mean anything start come like flooding right at me, and I stop them. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold on a second here, okay, let's just take a breath. What you are looking at, right? If this person has done this or is failing to do this job at work, what does their Facebook have to do with anything? Well, this is just the kind of person that they are. I'm like, okay, stop. I want you to understand something right now. Facebook is fake. Social media is fake. It really is. And yeah, there are people that put a lot of genuine stuff out there, but I say fake, meaning that the only thing that we do when we're looking at social media is that we are comparing. We are only looking at the behind the scenes stuff. We are not looking, or excuse me, we're not looking at the behind the scenes stuff. I know that I'm ruining a really great video moment right there. Try that again. That could have been clipped. That's all right. We are only looking at the highlight reels. We're not looking at the behind the scenes. And the behind the scenes really is what is going on. And it's ugly and it's complicated and it's gross, but that's what social media allows us to do, is to put the highlight reels out there. You don't know when somebody puts something out on social media what kind of day they're actually having. Now, they could be out there just bitching and screaming and crying about whatever situation is going on at work or whatever it is that you're looking at. And they may be telling the truth, but you know what? Instantly, you're judging them based off of that. You are. And there could be people out there, and there are, we know it because we see it all the time, that they actually decide to air their dirty laundry about you. And the honest truth is that it's none of your business about what they think about you. Now, when it comes to employers checking out social media because they want to know if their employee is being honest with them, I have a tendency to, depending on the situation, to not really worry about that too much. I mean, there are times where I think it is helpful and useful to do that. So if you have somebody that constantly calls in sick, is always out saying that their kid is constantly blah, 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 and then they run off, or they need, 3 weeks off for medical reasons, and then they run off and do a family trip down over at Disneyland. Been there, done that. Had an employee that actually did that, put in for FMLA leave for 3 weeks, got the doctor to sign off on it, said that he needed a mental break, and took his whole entire family took him down to Disneyland for a week. Lots of judgment on our part on that one. And you know what? The guy did everything that he needed to do. We hated it. We thought it was completely out of integrity that he did it. We were judging. But you know what? This person constantly put us in a position where we were judging and evaluating him based off of his behavior. And I can tell you, this was like one of the most problematic employees that I have ever had to work with. And thank goodness I really wasn't the one that was leading the charge on the HR front, because I really wanted to throttle the guy. To be honest with you, I did. I wanted to throttle him. I wanted to verbally throttle him. Oh my word. It was just always some sketchy behavior. And this individual was intentionally pushing things to the edge. He always wanted to be in the middle of all the attention, all the time. Always came up with a reason to argue, always came up with some reason to push the envelope, always came up with some reason to challenge the norm. So always came up with some reason to get away with whatever it was that he wanted to get away with. This person went so far as to actually sue 3 employers that I am aware of. Actual lawsuits, 2 of them, I think. I don't know about the last one. I started to not give an interest in this person. I figured I wasn't going to give him any power just by mentally thinking about him. But he found an attorney that was really interested in winning court cases against employers and on legit things. And, you know, it's just the way it was. And it wasn't a very noble individual. So this person hopped off, took his family down to Florida, spent the entire week at Disneyland, posted it up on Facebook. And behind the scenes, there was a lot of conversation as to what should be done about this person. And the reality is that he had all the paperwork in place. Does this mean going to Florida as part of that individual's mental rest? Sure, fine, right, whatever. We all came to the conclusion that honestly, this is just somebody taking a 3-week vacation. This is how they decided to do it. We judged, and we used that judgment to go ahead and at some point, now at this point, I left the company, but to make the determination that yes, this person actually did need to go. This person was operating outside of our core values, integrity being one of them. That was like one of the biggest ones. And we just felt that the person wasn't a cultural fit anymore. But you know what? We didn't go running in with a sword on fire, ready to fight Daenerys's dragon. We actually just allowed this person to go ahead and make enough mistakes that we turned the situation into, it's not a matter of if this person is going to screw up, because we knew it was going to happen. We just allowed it to be a matter of when. Just a matter of when. And we had quite a few issues with this person, but when we had something solid and egregious, that's when, and again, at that point, I was gone from the company. I moved on to something else. That's when it came time to go ahead and actually terminate the person. And he went on to go screw over just about every employer that he worked with. So I say all of this is that judgment of just watching somebody who's doing something pretty significantly to that versus somebody who's just going out and partying it up and whooping it out one time at a bar because they just need a mental day and didn't want to tell you they just needed a brain break is different. But nonetheless, it's still judging. And I feel like I'm kind of running around in a circle here. So I'm going to go ahead and start to land this plane. All right. There's levels to people problems, and there's levels to monitoring what is going on with your employees via either on social media or through the rumor mill. But what most people do is that they run into wanting to take action immediately. And I can promise you this is one of the biggest lessons I have ever learned when it came to dealing with people problems, and that is slow down. It's not for them, it's for you. Because the more you slow down and the more you gain control of your environment and of your mindset and of your blood pressure and of your temperament and the things that are going on in your head, the better your decisions when it comes to them are going to be. I promise you that. Now, if you're having individuals, two people that are not getting along with each other, that's another one, right? That's also another hard one. Or you have somebody that comes up and has a genuine concern about whatever's going on in the business. I'm going to give you something that is going to absolutely help you 10x your ability. If you do this, your ability to work with people, either difficult people, easier people, moderate people, problematic people in your business, in your company, coworkers, friends, family members, whatever. Here it is. Are you ready? So when you can clearly tell that there is an issue that you are involved in or you have to deal with, you can even do this in your own individual love life and relationship. I've tried it and it works well. Here's the question that you want to have to ask. It is my number one secret to dealing with people problems. The question or the mindset is, I should say, let me give you a question. Never assume you know what is important to someone. Always ask them. And here's the question that you want to ask. Let me say that again before I give you the question. My number one secret to dealing with people problems, and I'm reading my notes because I want to make sure you say it exactly right. Never assume you know what's important to someone. Always ask them. And here's how you ask them. It doesn't matter if it is 2 employees in an argument, 5 employees in an argument, whoever's involved. If it's between you, your spouse, you, a coworker, you, a friend, you, whatever, always ask this question and ask it to everybody that's involved directly, not indirectly, directly. What is the number one thing you want to see happen from this? Oh my gosh, so simple, right? What is the number one outcome that you want to see happen through all this? And the reason why I'm saying that is that when you assume that you know what's important to somebody in the moment, I mean, you can get to know somebody well enough that you can understand what's important to them overall, but when you understand what's important to somebody in that moment, what you are doing is you are taking out your judgment and you are getting hard, cold fact. When you get hard, cold fact, you now have the right information to deal with. There have been many times in my leadership life to where I thought I knew what was important to somebody and I addressed it. But you know what? I missed 20%, which meant that I was only 80% effective in what I was doing. And it also always left me feeling like I hadn't nailed it, or it really truly wasn't fully addressed, or there was some kind of something hanging out or some animosity still out there with the employee. And I was right every single time. It wasn't until I asked this question one time because I was just absolutely fed up with the person. And I'm like, what is it? What's the one thing you want to get out of this? And you know what happened? They looked at me and they told me exactly what it was without flinching, without batting an eye, absolutely full on confidence. And you know what? I was wrong. I thought I was addressing what was important to that person. When I realized that that is the most powerful question you can ask somebody in dealing with your difficult people problems, holy crap. The judgment went away on my part. The judgment went away on their part. And we got through everything quicker, smoother, faster because we had an eye on the target. We knew exactly what had to happen. Solve this problem, solve it here, solve this, solved, done. Here's the other piece of it. You can't always solve everybody's problems. You can get pretty damn close to it though sometimes, but sometimes the things that they want you to solve are not possible. They just aren't. Some of them aren't realistic. But you know what? That's okay. At least you know what's still important to that person, even though it's something that could be unrealistic or something that they can't solve. Maybe someday that thing that they're concerned about, will probably still be concerned about, will eventually be realistic. Maybe. If not, then you know where they stand. And that in and of itself is a lot of power. Not power as in like, oh, I'm going to lord it over. No, power in understanding how to solve these complex issues. Because honestly, we make things more complex by not having the right kind of conversations, not having the right kind of dialogue. And the best way to get into that is to ask that question. What is the number one thing you want to see happen throughout all of this, or at the end of this, however it is you want to say it? Doesn't matter. Ask them that. They will tell you, I promise you. And here's the thing. If they can't tell you, then they don't even know what the conflict is about. Because what that answer is, it's not a trust answer. It's a what the hell is going on with you kind of answer, question and then answer. And if they can't articulate what they want out of it, then either they're stuck and you've got to help them figure out what's really, truly, honestly bothering them, which may or may not even be in your control, or they're just causing drama. Now, I'll bet you 10 to 1, the second one, causing drama, is least likely when you're dealing with a solid individual, somebody who like completely is an awesome performer, right? When they get to that point when they're stuck and they don't know why they're stuck, it's a genuine issue. Okay, when you have your problem people who want to take, sign off on Family Medical Leave Act and go down to Florida, and then they start, throwing shade into everything, and then all of a sudden it's like, what do you want out of this? And they can't tell you. That's drama. That's drama. They're just causing a mess to cause a mess. Truth. And the one time that they do genuinely have an issue, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Nobody's going to want to believe them. So you have to really take into every single consideration when it comes to dealing with those people, those real problematic people. Is this the one time that they're actually telling me something honest or not? Is this the one time where they have a genuine beef? Or are they just throwing drama into the situation? I'm going to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to want to believe them because they're just that big of a pain in the ass. That's the truth. But if you take into consideration that there's a possibility that they are being genuine, or a portion of what it is that they're talking about that they are being genuine, address the genuine, manage the other garbage, right? Set your expectations. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this helped you guys out. And again, look, if you got a lot of value, because that's my goal, is to plug you guys with a metric ton of value, please feel free to do so. Go ahead, like, share, leave a review on this episode. I promise you they're going to get better. I feel like I'm out of my groove when it comes to doing some podcasts. It's been a while. It's actually been a couple of years since I dropped my last episode, like 2 years, something like that. Definitely would love to have you guys come back and definitely help us build this, because we're really just here to help people be successful. And the people issues are just like, oh, so crazy. They can just drive you crazy. They drive me crazy sometimes. And I'll be honest with you, even helping people understand people problems, I still have my share of people problems. And they drive me absolutely batty. I'm not gonna lie, right? But also, don't forget the Patreon group. You guys, I do have a Patreon group. It's called Solving People Problems. The link is in the description to this episode. As a member, first off, members get extra good stuff. Do a lot of videos on YouTube and just all over the place on a regular basis, and put mass value out there to help people figure out how to solve people problems. When you become a patron, you get extra behind the scenes stuff that only patrons get. We get the deep dives into the videos that I put out there. In addition to that, you can go ahead and ask me a question and get a video response back. It was really easy. At the very top, you'll see a pinned link that says ask your question here. And you can go ahead and you can do this on your phone. You can do it on your laptop. Send me a video question. You can send me an audio question. To be honest with you, those are the best, because if you send me the written version of it, I may have like a lot of questions, because we don't type lengthy when it comes to submitting texts and stuff like that. So honestly, video, audio, absolutely the best. And you will get a video response from me. And that is one of the thank yous that I give for becoming a patron. Patreon, actually, the membership there, it's very inexpensive, helps support this podcast and all of the work that we do here behind the scenes, so that we can help you guys be outrageous successes. So thank you so very much. Look forward to seeing you again on the next episode.